Are you confident? Do you have consistency? How much conviction do you have? I'm Daniel Gomez, the Confidence Architect, a business strategist, keynote speaker, executive coach, and best selling author. On the Daniel Gomez Inspire Show, we will help you unlock confidence to create consistency and develop conviction. Together, we will discover the key that unlocks your confidence. All right, welcome back to another episode of the Daniel Gomez Inspire Show, where we motivate, we encourage you, and man, today we're going to inspire you. And I'm always excited, right? I'm always excited to see when people grow and elevate to the next level. And this next guest, let me tell you, I've known him for many, many years already, but he's not the guy I met many years ago. He's definitely a new creation. He's still good looking, but he's a good friend of mine. Honored to call him a brother and a friend. Welcome to the show, Mr. Jose Escobar. How you doing, my brother?
I am fantastic. Super honored and excited to be here with you today and your audience.
Well, man, you got the audience going crazy. Woo, let's go. Come on, man. I'll tell you what. I know the amazing person you are, brother, but tell the audience of the Daniel Gomez Inspire Show, who is Jose Escobar?
So I am a 39-year-old family man out of Maryland. I was born in Washington, D.C. I was there for 6 months of infancy, and then I was in Montgomery County, Maryland all my life. Happily married to my beautiful wife, Katie Escobar, and we have 5 wonderful children, 15 years old, all the way down to a new child that's going to be born, another boy, on August 7th of this year. That's the due date. So a family man of God, very spiritual person, very involved in my church. I'm also a sales director for a global martial arts company called EFC out of Chevy Chase, Maryland. I handle the U.S. territory, do a lot of coaching, consulting, and I'm involved in events as well. And then I have 2 companies, the Entrepreneurs Bookshelf and the Connected Leaders Academy, both companies of which have scaled to 6 figures in less than 7 months combined, which is very, very exciting and is really where things are headed in the future. That's in a nutshell who I am.
And he did all this under 40 years old? Hey, that's good, brother. I'll tell you what, some guys don't do it till they're 80 years old. So I got to applaud you. And in all seriousness, I know before we came on live on the show, I was admiring the fact that you're not the same person anymore. We were talking to a mutual friend of ours, and it just to see the ascension that you've gone on, that God's taking you on, has been amazing. What like, I knew you, right? I knew you were active. I met you on social media, but now, like, something shifted inside of Jose Escobar, right? Something is different inside of you. You see it, the way you talk, the way you carry yourself. And I think so many people, they never get that eye-opening experience. They never get unstuck from what they're used to doing, that identity. What happened? Because you've definitely, like you just mentioned, right? 2 businesses, 100K in less than 7 months. Most people are in business 5 years and they can't even hit 100K in one business. What light came on, or what happened along the way, Jose?
The main shift was I was just frankly sick and tired of being broke. You know, that's like the biggest thing. I was just sick and tired of like going to restaurants and looking at the menu from right to left. Can I afford this? You know, the whole idea of like, are we going to pay this bill or this bill? Which bill is more important? If one bill doesn't work out, which one is more important? The whole thing of like, oh, my son wants this or my daughter wants that. And I'm like, well, we can't really afford it, right? And not that I say that, but that's how I feel inside, and oh, this opportunity, this mastermind comes up, or this thing that I know I need to do, that if I invest in it, it's just going to change my game, and I can't do it because I can't afford it. Like it was a money thing for me. One of my mentors from many years ago was in this large arena, and they asked him, why did you join this company? Why did you start this company? And he said 5 reasons: money, 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 and money. Now, money is just a tool. It's a means to an end. So it sounds empty to say, oh, it's all about the money. It's not about the money in itself, but it starts with the money. And for me, it was like, I want to provide for my family, and I got to do something different. And there was a time, like right before, like less than a year ago, where I had a negative bank account with like $250 in fees that I had to negotiate from the bank to say, hey, can you reverse some of these? And they said, we can only reverse half of the fees. And that half that they reversed me was the difference between us going to the grocery store and getting what we needed and not doing it, right? And it was embarrassing.
Wow.
38
That's
years old, 38 years old. And that's kind of what happened. So that shifted. I was like, I got to do something different.
well, I want to circle back because you said something that was pretty powerful. And I think so many people miss this is because, right, even when I do my coaching, you said something that's even more powerful than the words that we say. You said, I didn't even say it, right? You never said I can't afford it, or you never said it, but you felt it. And sometimes that feeling that we have inside, that actually overrides what we say sometimes, right? Because it's that, right? It's that core belief. I call it in my book, I call it the financial inner economy. And when you have that poor-minded financial inner economy, that trumps all your skill set, all your knowledge. That's what makes us procrastinate. So the fact that you felt that way, that kept you, and it's probably keeping many people at bay. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is a part of the show right now. Before we go in deeper, I want you to get out your pen and paper and take some notes, right? Because you retain over 50% of what you write down. And I know Jose is going to drop some massive wisdom. He's opening his heart. He's being authentic. He just explained to us that he had a negative bank account. It takes a lot for a man to say that. And believe me, because it's not easy to say. But I want you to describe, if you can, Jose, what are some of the feelings? Because I think sometimes we're not aware of the feelings that we have. And to be honest with you, I remember when I was younger, right? I used to cover it up with a beer, have a drink, and you forget about your problems. It suppresses the feelings that we have. But this is the crap that keeps us stuck and in bondage, right?
Yes.
So when you said that, right, you had this feeling inside of you. What are some of the feelings that you felt when you couldn't afford something or you couldn't do something that you wanted to do?
I had a lot of feelings because I had this mindset. I always had this PMA, positive mental attitude mindset, right? And I was always reading the right books, like learning all kinds of things, being mentored by some awesome people. But it was just learning, 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 and not much application, right? So, and what I felt was like almost like a fraud, like trying to be successful, even though consciously I know I'm dead broke, right? And it was also, I felt embarrassment. I felt like, like this is just not good. Like I'm in my own home, and my wife is like, there doing her thing, and we're reading a book together, whatever, she does her thing. So we need to get groceries, right? And I look at my account and it's negative. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, like, what am I going to say? And this is embarrassing as a man. And and this is me being truly transparent, because at the end of the day, like, I know what it feels like to have those feelings of embarrassment, of fraud, of the whole imposter syndrome, of like even moments of depression where you're like, why is this a revolving door? I make money and then it's gone, and then I make money and then it's gone. And it's not so much always about how much money you make, it's how much money you keep. And for me, I had terrible money management skills that are just only starting to surface, right? So you
Yeah.
can make all the money in the world, but if you can't keep it and you can't manage it, there you go.
I love what you said because it reminded me about when I first started in the car business. I went to an automotive sales training workshop, marched out. It says, it's not how much money you make, Daniel Gomez, it's how much money you get to keep, right?
Yep.
Because people talk about cash flow, which is great, but how much of that cash are you keeping? And I'll never forget, he challenged us. He goes, how awesome would it be if you could save $1,000 a month, and at the end of 30 months, you have $30,000 in your bank account? There was about 60 of us in there. And I looked at him and I said, man, it'd be nice if it was possible. Because I was there, right? I would think I was like 26 years old. And at that time, I don't know how much money we had saved up, but it wasn't nearly as that. And he goes, well, Daniel, it is. He goes, you know how? I know. I said, why, Mark? He goes, because other people have already done it.
Mm.
And he challenged me. He goes, maybe you can't do 1,000 a day, Daniel, but will you commit to doing 500? So you know what? I will. And if it wasn't for that $500 that I was saving, then went to 1,000. When my wife was diagnosed with breast cancer 5 years ago, that was the nest egg that we had built up, and I got in the habit, right? So did you had this awareness now, right? You had this awakening. What were some of the two action steps that you started doing? Because you said, right, I'm reading all these books, I got these books, but crap, I'm not applying this knowledge. So what are two things that you can give to the audience right now that you just started doing, or maybe three, whatever God puts in your heart right now? But what are what are the actions you started implementing to really start changing that mindset where you didn't have that feeling anymore, where you didn't feel like an imposter, where you didn't feel. And I want to thank you, brother, for just really opening up your heart, because I think, especially the men out there right now, they need to hear this, because so many men feel guilty or they have shame, and they're not doing anything because they're drowning their sorrows the wrong way.
Yeah. No, for sure. I know many people that, they talk a great talk, right? And it sounds like things are in place, but the reality is, there's a lot of like skeletons in the closet that are not necessarily all there, in terms of like, we haven't arrived, right? We never arrived, but it's just like, I got tired of just like, you know, living life and doing good things and investing in myself and not getting results. You know how many times my wife, like, books would come to the doorstep. I'd sign up for this program or that program or go to this event, and oh, I signed up for that. And my wife is like, another book, another program, another this and that. And the reality is that I wasn't making any money from it. So when is the money going to start coming in? And it came down to that. So the shift happened when I said, you know what? I have to create, I have to start applying what it is that I'm learning. And a lot of the space of where I was learning things was morning routine, evening routine. I would look at all of the titans of industry. I'd look at the high performers and the people that I follow and where they are, right? And the common denominator, like the Warren Buffetts, the Elon Musks, the Steve Jobs, the Jeff Bezos, all that, love them or hate them is irrelevant. It's, they have success habits in place that most people don't, right? And that's really what it came down to. And a common theme among all these people, and even people that are not necessarily in the millions and billions, but like just doing big things, where they have systems in place. The bookends of their day is what I call it, right? The morning routine, the evening routine. Most of these people can milk more in a morning than most people can do in a whole day or 2 days or 3 days, some people even a week. So I said, you know what? I need to start applying what I'm learning. And the shift happened in 2019. I started applying the morning and evening routine, and I committed to waking up at 5 a.m. Monday through Friday, going to bed by 10:30 p.m., and having certain things that I do on the front ends of my days, right? And that right there for 1 year completely changed my life. And that's what it was all about. Those simple things. I did other things along the way, but in that 1 year, I doubled my income. I launched a business. I lost 36 pounds. My spiritual life was at an all-time high. I became a better father, a better husband,
You lost 36
emotionally.
pounds.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So let's do this, right? Because I really want to give some meat here. Everybody, I hear many people talk about morning routine. Let's talk about the evening routine.
Yeah.
What are the big shifts you implemented in the evening routine?
So the best morning routine begins the night before. So that's the first thing, is people
Of
think
that.
I'm going to have a great morning routine, but you're already behind if you didn't start the night before. So the evening routine is the groundwork, the framework, the foundation of the morning routine. So the last thought of your evening is the first thought of your morning. So you have to go to sleep in abundance. You have to go to sleep in positive mental attitude. You have to go to sleep in faith. You have to go to sleep in these disciplined thoughts that are very intentional that you plant the night before. So for example, affirmations. Affirmations are not just the morning, they're the evening, right before you go to bed. The evening routine has things built into it, like a bedtime routine. The bedtime routine is different than the evening routine. So the bedtime routine is what? I put my alarm on the opposite side of the room, in my restroom or somewhere where I have to physically get up to walk across and, whatever time, and go and turn it off, right? I'm wearing my clothes for the gym. So literally I wear my shorts and my t-shirt to bed. People go to sleep in PJs. I go to sleep in my workout clothes. So, and right next to my bed on the floor is my shoes and socks. So everything is laid out the night before, so there's no thought, because the more thought and willpower we have to exude first thing in the morning, the less likely you are to get up out of bed and do what you got to do, because we have 5 seconds, the 5-second rule, right? As soon as your alarm goes off, you have 5 seconds to be thoughtless and just get up mechanically and systematically and put your feet on the floor and get erect and stand up and go do what you got to do. Because if you wait longer than 5 seconds, that's when you start to negotiate in your own mind. Do I want to get up? Do I not want to get up? So again, the night before, affirmations, the bedtime routine. You want to journal, brain dump the thoughts on a paper, right? Because you have less stress, you have less to think about. My planner, my planner is completed the night before. I know the next morning exactly what I'm going to do because I prepared it the night before, just to name a couple of things.
Wow, I've never heard that. So so your alarm clock's not on your nightstand, is what you're saying.
Never. It's on the opposite side of the room in the most inconvenient place possible.
So did your wife throw a pillow at you because of that?
No, no, because
She's like,
again,
either that or you better get your butt up.
yeah, that's exactly right. I have 5 seconds to get up and go do it quickly, or then she gets upset. You're right. That's another motivator.
But I love what you're saying, right? So think about what Jose's saying, ladies and gentlemen. What is your morning like? What is your morning like? And I love what you said. Think about what he said, ladies and gentlemen. Your morning routine, your morning starts the night before. Are you helping yourself set up for the next day? Maybe today we're recording the podcast. It's a Tuesday. Maybe your Tuesday hasn't been the best you wanted it to be. But guess what? Tonight you can set your Wednesday up for success. And I love what Jose said, right? Because say affirmations at night. Maybe you're saying, Daniel, I'm not an affirmation person. So and get in the habit of doing things that you don't want to do. And when you start implementing these and they become habits, next thing you know, your alarm clock being 20 feet away from you is no issue. And you have the habit of putting your running shoes or your workout clothes right on your bed. I love that. Like those are simple but practical things that every human being can do because it holds you accountable. You're like, right, if you don't, out of sight, out of mind is what came to mind with that. I will say, it's like if you see your workout clothes or you have it on or your shoes are right there, it's like, oh crap, I already said I'm going to go work out. I better go. But
Yeah.
people don't realize that we have triggers and this thing triggers you in the right direction, right?
Yep.
So just to recap, you wear your workout clothes to bed. You put your shoes and your socks right there, your tennis shoes. You journal in your bed
Yep.
routine. And I love the alarm clock thing. I never heard that, right? Because it's just it makes a lot of sense. And what else?
Prayer. I
Prayer.
spend a good amount of time in prayer the night before. And with prayer, simultaneously, I include a reflection of conscience. That's what I call it, right? Reflection of conscience. I ask myself the hard questions. How did I show up today? What did I do that was successful today? What did I not do? Did I behave in the best way? This situation that happened that wasn't favorable, why did I allow this to happen? And I'm asking myself some tough questions. After I journal, I go into prayer. And this whole meditative process goes into my examination of conscience, where I examine myself and I cut myself open and look inside. And sometimes it's really good. It's like, oh, today I was amazing. That's really good. I'm excited. Celebrate that. And then sometimes it's like, I don't like what I see. And I'm like, I wasn't my best self in this situation. I should have behaved in this way. I should have done this, or coulda, shoulda, woulda kind of thing, right? So I include examination of conscience in the evening, right? I also commonplace. I do commonplacing after my reading. So I do reading 20 minutes in my evening routine, usually some kind of a book. I'm always reading 5 books at a time in different categories of my life because you got to be well-rounded. So whatever book I need the most at that time, I'll read it before I go to bed. And when I'm done reading, I always do commonplacing, which is super, super important. And that's kind of my ritual.
So you start doing this, right? Because this is big, like just in coaching clients, so many people we want, and I was guilty of that, right? Okay, Jose, I started this 3 weeks ago. I don't see nothing happening. This isn't fun. I'm not enjoying this. What is something that somebody can do, right? When right, you're excited, you go to a conference, you hear Jose speak about the evening routine, the morning routine, and I'm going to be committed to the evening routine. And the first 2 weeks are always fun and easy. What did you do for yourself to keep going when maybe there was times you're like, I don't want to do this?
Great question. So the bridge between where I am today and where I want to be, the 2.0 version of myself, is called discipline, right? The gap between failure and success is discipline. I have to cross that bridge daily. And that requires 3 things: hard work / discipline, right? It requires mental toughness and extreme ownership. So I need to hold myself accountable. A lot of us are dependent on others to push us and nudge us and poke us and pull us and lift us. And we at some point have to make a concrete executive decision to say, I am going to show up for me. I am going to do what I need to do. I need to be mentally tough, disciplined, consistent, have that resilience to do what you need to do. So if somebody said to me, oh my gosh, I'm having a hard time with this evening routine, don't start so aggressively. Don't go for 1 hour every night. I'm going to start. No, start with 20 minutes a night. Start, and then you graduate to 25 minutes, and then you graduate to 30 minutes. And don't start off with 10 things, start off with 5 things. Start off with 3 things. The whole atomic habits, James Clear concept of like little, small, simple steps, as Jim Quick from Limitless also says. Small, simple steps, atomic habits, inch by inch, and you start adding on to it. The problem, the reason why most people don't complete things or don't finish is because they overwhelm themselves and they try to go all in too soon, and then they fail. So start small and grow progressively.
Kind of like working out, right? You can't expect to go to the gym and work out for 2 hours straight. If you never worked out, you're gonna be dead sore the next day. You're not gonna do anything for another month because you can't do it that way.
That's right. And another piece to that is habits tracker. Have a tracker, have a sheet that you use, right? I have my own morning and evening routine sheet. So I physically check things off as I'm doing it. And the simple act of physically putting a pen to paper and checking something off, there is science and psychology behind it that it makes you feel more accomplished. You feel like you're hitting benchmarks. It starts releasing the happy juices in your brain, the dopamine and all that stuff that we search. So there is a reason why we need to be checking things off as we're doing it, at least initially for the first at least 66 days.
So somebody's listening to this and they're like, that sounds all good and everything, Jose. Daniel, thank you for this episode. But how did that translate into your income growing? How did it translate into being more successful in business? And right. And now, like you said, you have 2 businesses that you hit 100K of both businesses. How does those little things, how did it end up becoming such massive success?
So we don't rise to the level of our goals and ambitions and vision and dreams, right? We fall to the level of our systems and our habits. So for me, I never had those systems and habits in place. People look at the morning, evening routine like an intangible thing that it would be nice, kind of like, motivation, kind of like personal development. It would be nice to have that. It's like a dessert at the end of my meal. It would be nice, but I don't necessarily need it because I'm already nourished. I already had my 3 meals in a day. I already had my appetizer and my entree. I don't need the dessert, but it would be nice. The reality is that it is the most foundational key things that is a must in your life. It's a requirement. It's a requirement in life only if you want to be successful.
Yeah, I love
Now,
it.
if you don't want to be successful, you're right, you don't need it. But if you want to be successful, there is no place where success comes before, or should I say where, success comes before work, except the dictionary. I don't know who said that, right? So,
yeah, no, I love that because one thing comes to mind is this, right? Is everybody say they want to be successful. They dream about it. And like you said earlier before we started the show, is they want to be it, right? It's a want. And when it's a want, like you said, it comes from lack, but it's a desire. It comes from abundance. And so many people, I've seen them, Jose, right? They want the success without making the investment. They want the success without the preparation. And what Jose is saying, ladies and gentlemen, is that he had to fill that gap from where he was to where he wanted to be, the newer version of himself. And it took discipline. It took discipline, holding himself accountable. So ask yourself right now, where in my life do I need to be more disciplined? Where in my life do I need to be more disciplined? Ask yourself that. I always said on the show, right? The quality of your life is determined by the quality of the questions you ask yourself in life. The quality of your business is the quality of the business questions you ask yourself in your business. So where in your life right now are you not disciplined? And I think about this is when I was in Miami last year with with Floyd Mayweather, and we were on this yacht, and I was there, and I looked at some pictures, and I was like, man, my cheeks are chubby. And we were having business success, right? We were growing. But after I got back to the hotel, I was like, man, I didn't like the way I looked. Well, whose fault is that? Because sometimes success will make you lazy, right? Sometimes success breeds in complacency. And I remember really not feeling good about myself. So, well, I know I'm not giving 100% of my workouts because I'm going through the motions of my workouts. So I said, to what you're saying, Jose, is I said, well, if I'm not giving 100% of my workouts, there's a part of my business that I'm taking shortcuts to. I just don't see it. Hired a trainer, push me, right? I'm getting back in the best shape I've ever been. But hey, guess what? My workouts intensified tremendously. Our revenue grew tremendously because the
Mhm.
way you do something is the way you do everything. If you're not disciplined here, you're not going to be disciplined here. What's your perspective on that?
They're all interconnected. It's just like the mind-body connection, right? Same thing with success and your discipline and your daily life. So the mind is directly linked to the body and the body to the mind. One feeds the other. And if you're really firing on all cylinders, you're working out and you're learning something new at the same time. And it creates new neural pathways in your brain that make you smarter and make you have more abilities, right? So it's all about, what are you learning new? You know, what new thing are you picking up? What new instrument? What new language? What new concept or strategy? You know, are you working out? And are you working out, or are you pushing yourself to your next limit? Or are you just kind of going through the motions of going for a walk or going for a light jog? You know, you got to push yourself to the brink in both the mind and the body. And they are completely directly correlated, like you just mentioned.
Man, well, I love everything we're talking about, right? And I think because of all the success you've had, you have your first book coming out here shortly, don't you? So tell us a
Correct.
little bit about your book, if you don't mind.
Yeah, so my book is on my program, and a little bit about my story. It's called Winning the Day. The subtitle is An Entrepreneur's Guide to Morning and Evening Routine Mastery. So winning the day, because how you start your day is going to either set you up for success, or it's going to set you up for failure or mediocrity, right? And the day starts the night before. So I talk about winning the day, and it starts with how you start your day, right? So I go into a little bit about where I was prior to 2019, you know, struggling, robbing Peter to pay Paul, paycheck to paycheck, more month than money, all those things, right? And I share a little bit of intimate stories in there. And then I go into the transition of what happened in 2019. When I was sick and tired of being sick and tired, what did I do about it? And when I implemented what I've learned over the years, finally, right? Because information without application is nothing. So I started applying what I was learning. And in that 1 year, I talk about all the things that happened in my 10 life domains, which Michael Hyatt references in his book, Your Best Year Ever. And then from there, I talk about the actual program itself. I give people tangible advice, strategies, and tips on how you can level up your morning routine and your evening routine immediately today, whether you have one or not, to the next level. And then, of course, I invite people to look into my program, which I do have a program that this book came from.
Well, I need to look at this book because I need to upload it. So what's the name of the book again, Jose?
Winning the Day.
When is it going to be available?
January 6th is the actual formal launch date where you can have a physical copy in your hand. But right now it's available for pre-order. So you can actually lock in your copies today, signed and personalized copies. I have different packages available, and you can check it out on my website, www.winningthedaybook.com.
Yeah, and we're going to have that link here in the show notes, ladies and gentlemen. So don't worry about that. So I want you to take a moment, right? I want you to take a moment, look into the camera, speak into the mic, and somebody maybe there where you're at, because you've referenced this a couple of times, and this is something sincere that you've gone through, right? Having more month than we do money, having the struggle of living paycheck to paycheck, because that definitely causes some stress in a marriage. And actually, most divorces are because of money. Do me a favor, take about a minute and give a word of encouragement to a man or woman out there who maybe needs to hear your words right now, Jose.
What I would say to you on the other end of this video or audio is very simple. Life is what you make of it. You are in control of the results that you seek. You are where you are right now in your life, and this is a bitter pill to swallow, because you choose to remain there. If you want to take your life to the next level, it's going to require a higher level version of you, which means what? More discipline, more accountability, get rid of excusitis, get out there and get uncomfortable, get in your discomfort zone. There is something you can all do right now, today, to draw a line in the sand and say, today moving forward, my life goes to the next level. You are one commitment away, not one decision away, because I can decide today I want to do something and decide later I change my mind. You have to be all in, 100% committed. And if you commit to being your best self and changing one aspect of your life, you don't need to change all 10. That's nice and grandiose and it's ideal. Change one thing that is nagging at you the most. Start there, get uncomfortable, live in that space of discomfort, and watch your life change. I assure you.
Boom, baby. Look at that. You're not one decision away, ladies and gentlemen. You're one commitment away. I love the way you said that, right? Are you committed or are you just interested? Listen to what Jose said. What's one commitment? I want you to get out your pen and paper right now. What's one commitment that you can commit to right now? What's that word you said? I like that word you said. I never heard it like that. Excusitis, or what was it?
Excusitis.
Excusitis. Ladies and gentlemen, get rid of that excusitis in your life. And today, commit. You're listening to this right now for a reason. God put you here for a reason. What's one commitment that you can do today to improve your life? Jose, what's a scripture or a quote that you rely on times of adversity?
Commitment to continuity establishes emotional stability. I'll say it again. Commitment to continuity establishes emotional stability.
I love that, man. This guy's amazing. I love him. I'm so proud of you, man. You're a blessing, brother. I'll tell you what, if somebody wants to get a hold of Jose Escobar, how do we get a hold of you? How do we get in contact with you?
So you can go to my website, theentrepreneur'sbookshelf.com. So the entrepreneur with an S, theentrepreneur'sbookshelf.com. You can find my program there. You can set up a strategy session with me. I would love to dive into what your current morning routine and evening routine looks like. Explore the program and see if it's a good fit. You can also get my book with the link there as well. The Connected Leaders Academy, a membership program that I have. You can, look into that as well there. You can also find me on Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn, the @ JAESCO25. And of course, you can always email me, jaesco25@gmail.com.
There it is, man. I'll tell you what, brother, I enjoyed our time. You're a blessing. And ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have all his links in our show notes. And also we'll have that pre-order link there. That way you can order his book coming out in January of 2023. I'm definitely going to grab my copy. You want to get your copy and you can even pre-order that right now. And ladies and gentlemen, that's a wrap for this week's episode of the Daniel Gomez Inspired Show. And think about this. What if I could help you take away the arguments in your marriage? What if I can help you just cut out that financial stress? Well, guess what? We've been helping hundreds of people already with our book, The Makings of a Millionaire Mind. And now we're taking it a step further with our course behind me, the Makings of a Millionaire Mind course. Go to the makingsofamillionairemind.com. That's the makings with an S, the makingsofamillionairemind.com, and apply for our scholarship. We have a scholarship available for those who qualify. We have only a select few. So go there right now, the makingsofamillionairemind.com, and apply for your scholarship for our course, 27 powerful modules that are going to change your life. And join us again next week. We're going to have another amazing guest here on our show. See you next week here on the Daniel Gomez Inspire Show. This is Daniel Gomez, and thank you so much for tuning into our show today. We'd love your feedback. Please drop us a comment, and thank you for leaving us a review. Don't forget to subscribe to our show and share this episode with a friend. And my free gift for listening to our show today is a copy of my best-selling book, You Were Born to Fly. To get your free copy, go to DanielGomezInspires.com and get your copy today. That's DanielGomezInspires.com. And to elevate your life and business even more, follow me on social media at Daniel Gomez Inspires on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Together, we will discover the key that unlocks your confidence.